Now at 5, it's the first day of class for students at Joplin Public Schools. We'll hear from a student about the big day. Plus, authorities in Galena, Kansas identify a vehicle and the driver involved in a fatal weekend hit and run. And
Tropical Storm Hilary has left its mark on Southern California. I'm Jason Allen in Cathedral City, California, with the latest on the cleanup and recovery effort.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
it's the first day of school for students in Joplin. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. Students at Soaring Heights Elementary School arrived bright and early for the big day. We spoke to one 5th grader about why it's so important to start first day of school on the right foot.
That 4th grade last year was the best, and I was in 4th grade last year, and so I was part of that. And now we want to make 5th grade the next level, and then keep going and keep going.
So when the students enter the building, it kind of feels like the reward that we have someone who we actually get to share all this knowledge and all this planning, and we've worked so hard to connect and figure out ways to help them grow.
The principal of Soaring Heights Elementary says they have several goals this year. One, they're focusing on improving attendance. A piece of Southwest Missouri history has a brand new owner. The historic Reddings Mill Inn hit the auction block in Newton County, Missouri. Built back in 1872, the inn traded hands a few times over the years before ending up with its current owner, who's actually also a former owner. The final bid went to $380,000. Authorities are looking for a man and woman in connection with an incident involving gunfire in Frontenac, Kansas, Friday evening. It began at 212 West Lincoln Street, where resident Kenneth Phillips says his motorcycle had been pushed over and someone fled in a white SUV. Phillips says he ran after that SUV, and the driver, 28-year-old Sage Sprague of Pittsburgh, says rolled down his window and fired a shot at Phillips in the yard of 601 Mount Carmel Road. Phillips was not hurt. Authorities have since found the suspect vehicle in Cherokee, Kansas. They're still looking for Sprague and his suspected passenger, 27-year-old Kristen Romsberg of Weir, Kansas. The Kansas Highway Patrol says they've identified this vehicle and the driver they say were involved in a fatal hit and run in Galena Saturday night. The crash happened around 11:30 p.m. Saturday on State Road 66 at milepost 2.9 on the western edge of Galena. Authorities say it involved that truck and a pedestrian. This man, 60-year-old Gary LaTurner of Galena. LaTurner was killed in the crash. No word yet on whether that driver has been arrested. Boy, it's a hot day out there. Let's check in with meteorologist Sam Lane.
You are absolutely right. We've been taken to school today on the heat across the area. This morning we started off mild, and look at these temperatures. Over 100 degrees in many locations, 104 in Fredonia, Yates Center, 106 in Howard, just insane. And then when you factor in the dew point, it feels even worse out there. So let's take a look at the forecast instead. It's a lot more pleasant. Temperatures dropping through the 80s to about 76 degrees by tomorrow morning. We're hoping that some of this tropical moisture moving into the western Gulf may start to spread some clouds up in our area tomorrow, maybe tempering the temperatures just a little bit. But nevertheless, as we look down the lane, the heat wave continues with low rain chances into the weekend, next weekend, and then some cooler weather ahead finally. But of course, the drought also is worsening, and I'll have details on that in just a bit.
See you soon. Los Angeles residents dodged a bullet, waking up to only minimal damage after Tropical Storm Hilary hammered the region yesterday. But other parts of Southern California have big messes to clean up after the first tropical storm that hit the West Coast in more than 8 decades brought record rainfall and lashing winds. Reporter Jason Allen has more from Palm Springs, California.
Cleanup across Southern California is underway in the aftermath of Tropical Storm Hilary. One family escaped injury after this huge tree just missed falling on their home near Los Angeles.
I thank God because all my family is safe.
Many in usually drought-stricken Palm Springs found they have temporary lakefront property. A river of mud shut down this section of Interstate 10 near Palm Springs. Many drivers spent the night in their vehicles.
While people assess the damage that was left behind here in Cathedral City, the National Guard is here to help people who need rescuing still because some of the roads into these neighborhoods are still impassable.
Heavy rain flooded this mobile home park, leaving damage in at least 60 homes.
The water was rushing and it was deep and all the rocks, you're just very unstable.
This flood, this was all water, like a lake, all through here, the backyards, the side yards. But it happens so seldom, I like the people and I like living here, but it makes you wonder if maybe I'm living in the right place.
Hillary also hit parts of Nevada. Water gushed through this casino parking lot in Las Vegas. And in Yuma, Arizona, trees and power lines are down from the storm's 60-mile-an-hour winds.
But it's an 89-year-old circumstance, right? I mean, we're not going to live to see the next one.
For others, the aftermath of the rare storm brought some novel fun, an opportunity to boogie board in a desert town. Jason Allen, CBS News, Palm Springs, California.
A 5.1 earthquake rattled Southern California during the storm yesterday. It was centered near Ojai, north of Los Angeles, because no significant damage, and seismologists say the quake was not related to the storm. President Biden and the First Lady are visiting Maui today to get a first-hand look at the massive destruction caused by the wildfires. The president is assigning a FEMA official to coordinate a long-term federal response. At least 114 people have been confirmed dead from those fires. The Maui County mayor now says 850 people are officially listed as missing. He's thanking the FBI and local police for locating more than 1,200 people. Former President Donald Trump says he won't participate in Wednesday's GOP primary debate. Instead, he'll release a recorded interview with former Fox News host Tucker Carlson. A new CBS News poll shows more than 90% of Republican primary voters want the debate participants to make the case for themselves. Only 9% want them to make the case against Trump. Still ahead, an old idea making a comeback.
What was old is new again at this New York City restaurant. I'm Michael George with how one business is trying to bring back the automat.
And next in Health Watch, researchers say man's best friend might be better at sniffing out COVID than current tests. Topping today's Health Watch, about a quarter of older Americans dealing with dementia or cognitive decline live alone. And a new study suggests that puts their health and safety at risk. Researchers at UC San Francisco interviewed healthcare providers and found such patients who live by themselves often don't have the support network they need to avoid self-neglect, malnutrition, and falls. They say more subsidies are needed for home health aides who can help, especially as the population ages. More children are dying from firearm injuries in the U.S. A study in the journal Pediatrics finds the rate of children killed by guns jumped more than 40% from 2018 to 2021. And researchers say racial disparities are widening. Nearly 50% of children killed in 2021 were black. The study found higher poverty levels are linked to more gun-related deaths. Man's best friend might be better at detecting COVID-19 than some of the current technology we use. Reporter Bradley Blackburn has more on how dogs are sniffing out infection.
They are our companions and best friends, and now a growing number of studies show dogs have the power to detect the COVID-19 virus.
One of the investigators from Colombia came out and said that RT-PCR is no longer the gold standard. It's the dog.
Researchers at UC Santa Barbara and colleagues reviewed dozens of studies from around the world. They say the findings demonstrate trained COVID-19 scent dogs are as effective or more effective than PCR tests, as well as at-home antigen tests. The dogs can detect the virus faster and in patients positive for infection but not showing symptoms yet, as well as patients who do not develop symptoms later, which could help stop the spread of the virus.
The diseases increase when they're in a population, basically exponentially. So the longer the wait is between your test and your result, that's a latent period. During that time, you're running around spreading COVID and you don't know it. The dogs with a direct sniff will be done in seconds.
In some of the studies, trained dogs give a person a quick sniff, then sit down to signal the presence of COVID. In other cases, dogs are given sweat samples to smell. Researchers say the trained scent dogs can also differentiate COVID-19 from other respiratory virus infections, which could revolutionize the medical industry. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Another benefit of the trained dogs is that they can quickly detect the virus in a non-intrusive way and without the impact on the environment of single-use plastic swabs. Following a healthy diet could decrease the chances of pregnancy loss for women undergoing infertility treatment. A study published in JAMA Network Open tracked hundreds of women being treated for infertility. Those who adhered to a healthy diet before treatment and conception had a lower risk of pregnancy loss. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, how the extreme global temperatures are putting the squeeze on the olive oil industry.
And the heat just continues to roll on across our area. I'll let you know what the rest of the week looks like, as well as a peek at the weekend when we come back. Well, it was another scorcher out there with temperatures above 100 degrees across a large part of our area. Right now at Seneca, Missouri, the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Bright blue skies, lots of sunshine, and plenty of heat. You can't even see the trees moving right now as the winds are pretty light. We made it up to 100 today in Joplin, which was only 2 degrees away from the record set 20 years ago back in 2003. We started out at 75 this morning, which of course was way above the normal of 67. And we're still way behind on the rainfall. So far this summer, we have now had 2 days in June above 100, 5 in July, and now we've had 5 in August, and we're likely going to continue to add to that as we go through the forecast. So tonight, we are under a heat advisory, or heat warning actually, an excessive heat warning across the entire 4-state area. So it's going to be with us for just a little bit longer, but there is hope on the horizon. But right now, temperatures are definitely above 100. 103 in Neodesha, same thing in Parsons. 105 scorching degrees in Independence, 97 in Neosho, a little bit cooler in Monette, where they're only sitting at 95. When you look at the dew points though, look at this, 84 in Veneta, 83 in Grove, 80 in Commerce, and so that is definitely soupy air as far as the dew points go. And when you look at what it feels like 125 right now in Grove, 120 in Commerce, 118 in Webb City and Carthage. Let's skip past this map. Let's just get on past that and look at tomorrow. It's going to basically be about the same thing. Temperatures above 110, or at least that's what it's going to feel like out there. And then as we go into Wednesday, same thing, above 110. And then Thursday, a little bit cooler, feeling like only 106 or 107 across the area, 101 in Yates Center. We're going to increase the clouds a little bit, and that's going to help out. But those clouds are not going to have any rain in them, at least for the next 36 hours, pretty much a 0% chance. We have this ridge of high pressure that's been parked itself right over our area, and it's slowly going to decrease and shift towards the west. And as it does, that will allow pieces of energy to rotate around the edge of it, increasing our chances of rain and also some cooler temperatures. But tonight, mostly fair and mild with lows in the 70s. And then tomorrow, a repeat of today, temperatures in the upper 90s to low 100s. And then as we go into Wednesday morning, again, partly cloudy skies with lows in the mid 70s. And then Wednesday afternoon, hot once again, around 100, especially in southeastern Kansas. And then as we go into Thursday morning, lows once again around mid 70s with morning lows. And then in the afternoon, 99 on Thursday, 100 on Friday. But then Dow finally, by the time we get into the weekend, cooler temperatures near normal, in fact, even a little below normal. Below normal, can you believe it? With a chance of showers and thunderstorms on Saturday and Sunday. But wow, what a heat wave this has been so far.
Yeah, whatever relief we get will certainly be welcome because this heat is brutal right now and it's dangerous.
Yeah, it is dangerous, and that's why people need to take precautions and drink plenty of water if they're outside.
Good advice. Sam, thanks. Coming up, how a restaurant is bringing back an old idea to meet current demands. Topping today's Consumer Watch, extreme heat and drought are pushing the olive industry into crisis. Industry experts say the scorching temperatures that have swept southern Europe this summer spell very bad news for olive trees. They say olive trees will drop their fruit to save moisture when it's too hot. Spokesperson for the International Olive Council says olive oil production is predicted to drop 20% between October of 2022 and September of this year. If you're a non-tech savvy Taco Bell lover, you might soon have to step up your technology game. Fast food chain's parent company, Yum Brands, has hatched a plan for 100% digital transactions. Yum's brands and other holdings include Pizza Hut and KFC. Chris Turner, the company's chief financial officer, detailed the plan on an earnings call earlier this month. That could mean people putting in more orders through a restaurant's website, mobile app, or a restaurant kiosk. The restaurant business can be very challenging, but one New York restaurant says business is booming after they revived an old idea. Reporter Michael George shows us how the automat might be making a comeback.
A visit to the Brooklyn dumpling shop might be confusing. There's no cashier, no wait staff. You'll find menu items in these little heated lockers, a reboot of a 100-year-old concept called an automat.
Technology killed the automat. It's time for technology to bring back the automat.
Automats started in the early 1900s and looked something like a giant vending machine. Customers put in coins to pull out their selection, but the automat's popularity faded, and eventually they shut down. Brooklyn Dumpling Shop co-founder Stratus Morfogen says this modern automat has some updates. First, customers use their phones to order. The food is cooked, then it goes into the locker. A text alert tells customers their order is ready for pickup using a code.
Scan your phone.
Scan it right there.
Yep, it'll tell you which locker to go to.
And then
it's
the door
number
opens.
6.
What are the advantages of this system?
We're respecting your time. So if you go to our web, place an order, pick a time, you could come in and out in 10 seconds.
The concept has customer appeal.
I like to run late, so they keep it warm and hot for me. That'd be perfect.
I think it's amazing, and I think it's really something for the future.
Morfogen says with just 3 employees, they can serve 200 to 300 customers a day.
I believe this will save our industry. When we get like the TikTok generation of the 15 to 30-year-olds, they come in and they're super comfortable with this concept because they live off their phone.
They've invested in this idea from the past being the future of restaurants. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Brooklyn Dumpling Shop has 8 locations in the New York area and Texas, but more are coming soon to Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Florida, and Canada. A few other companies' restaurants have tried to bring back automats over the last 10 years, but with only limited success. There was an uproar on X over the weekend after owner Elon Musk hinted the social platform, formerly known as Twitter, will be doing away with the block button. Users criticized the potential move, saying the tool helps to protect against online harassment. X's CEO also posted, quote, "Our users' safety on X is our #1 priority, and we're building something better than the current state of block and mute." A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, the latest on President Biden's visit to Maui, touring the wildfire devastation. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to have more on the first day of school at Joplin's Soaring Heights Elementary, plus how local law enforcement is partnering with Kansas legislators to raise awareness about the dangers of fentanyl. And Missouri Southern lets its women's basketball team tour their new locker room. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Apparently, a recent auction bidder thinks a wrecked car is worth $1.9 million. Sotheby's says it just sold the 1954 Ferrari Mondial Spider Series for that price in California. Yeah, $1.9 million. To racing fans, the car is more than just a hunk of metal or a hunk of junk. It's a piece of history. This car is one of just 13 of this model that Ferrari made in its racing heyday. This kind of design is behind the company's World Championships in 1952 and 1953, $1.9 million.
Yeah, let me write you a check. Yeah, it's going to be hot the rest of the week and then cooler on the weekend and next week. So we just have to get through this week.
See you at 6. Let's make it a great evening.